Hello, Ross Madden here. Welcome to the Truth of Think Tank channel. Hope you're having a good day. Today I'm making a video in defense of Donald Trump being a peace president. Donald Trump has brought peace to Syria, which is something that I cared enormously about. For 5 years now, since 2013, I've been paying attention to Syria, taking notes, writing some things. I've published a few articles and I've made a couple videos on this YouTube channel about the war in Syria and how it started and who was responsible for that. John McCain, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton. I'm looking at you, fools. You belong in prison. Anyway, Donald Trump has been tossed under the bus by many people in the alternative media because the alternative media cares about not starting wars. We're non-interventionists as a nation. That's how we were founded. That's how most people believe. Most people in the United States do not want the wars. It's a vast majority of the Democrats and a large majority of the Republicans think the wars have cost us way too much in blood and money, and they need to stop. That's why Donald Trump was elected, was because he was telling us that he would be a peaceful president. Honestly, that's part of why Obama was elected. And Bush ran on a peace president agenda as well. Well, both of those two lied. Bush and Obama lied. But did Trump lie? And that's what people in the alternative media, like Lee Camp, have claimed. Lee Camp says that we are dropping more bombs than ever before. And he put forth the statistic that 40,000 bombs were dropped this year, or maybe it was 44,000 bombs.
But that 70,000 bombs dropped by Bush, it was child's play. Obama dropped 100,000 bombs in 7 countries. He outbombed Bush by 30,000 bombs in 2 countries. Man, that's impressive. That puts him in a very elite group of Nobel Peace Prize winners. The Pentagon's own numbers show during George W. Bush's 8 years, he averaged 24 bombs dropped per day, which is 8,750 per year. Over the course of Obama's time in office, his military dropped 34 bombs per day, 12,500 per year. And in Trump's first year in office, he averaged 121 bombs dropped a day for an average annual total of 44,096. 5 bombs are dropped per hour, every hour of every day. That averages out to a bomb every 12 minutes. You see almost no one in Congress or the presidency trying to restrain our 121 bombs a day. You see almost no one on a mainstream outlet trying to get people to care about this. 121 bombs per day, 1 every 12 minutes. Do you know where they're hitting? Do you know who they're killing? Do you know why we're killing them? 121 bombs a day.
Maybe it was 44,000 bombs. And therefore, Donald Trump is the most warmongering president we've had thus far, because that's a record. Well, in reality, let's take a look at this incredible chart that shows the exact opposite. It shows that Lee Camp is actually full of shit and that Donald Trump has been reducing his weapons specifically dropped in Iraq and Syria. These 2 nations are the OIR project that our Defense Department is working on, and those nations that basically has been defunded by Donald Trump. We were sending $500 million a year, $500 million every year to basically assist the overthrow of Assad in these countries using both ISIS and Al-Qaeda rebels, we would call them. They're terrorists that our CIA and the Mossad would fund and train and arm in order to overthrow these people that we didn't like because they won't build our pipeline. In any case, this chart proves that while Donald Trump did in 2017, under Donald Trump's presidency, an enormous amount of bombs were dropped, Donald Trump is clearly the reason why we are exiting Syria. Donald Trump's defunding of the ISIS rebels has been the reason why the Syrian rebels have gotten their asses kicked by Russia and Iran and Syria, the Syrian military. I'm very proud of Russia and Iran for doing that. Thank you. Thank you for stepping in and standing up to the United States. That's got to be a terrifying thing. That's a very brave thing for a nation to do. And I appreciate countries that have stood up to our CIA and the Mossad, because that is what we are. That's what we want in America. We're not being run by the will of the people. It has been proven that the will of the people has zero effect on the government actions. And that is just the way it is in America. We live in one of the more corrupt nations, and certainly one of the most propagandized nations. So that's why I'm making this video, to just talk to you about the truth, about what's going on that you're not able to see. Donald Trump is bringing the troops out of Syria. That's really important, guys. And you should give him credit, because that war, that was the main focus of the war. That's where they're trying to stage the false flags. You can tell the deep state really wants war in Syria, and they've lost because Donald Trump defunded. That needs to continue, and our Air Force is not under the control of Donald Trump. I want you to know that. Our Air Force is not following Trump's orders, and you can tell because they're the ones that they're the ones that drop the bombs. They're the ones that respond, even though the order is given after the fact. Donald Trump is like, oh yeah, I did order that attack. I didn't want you to know that I ordered that attack. I don't think Donald Trump ordered those attacks. I think the Air Force just did them and then said, take credit for it or else. So, if you want a peaceful president, I think you will vote for Donald Trump in 2020. I think you'll support Republicans in 2018, because it's really the only chance we have for running the peace agenda. And Donald Trump's not perfect. We're not doing well in Yemen. We've dropped more bombs in Afghanistan, but it's the Air Force. You can tell it's the Air Force. And actually, no. The Yemen was an arms deal, and that's mostly being done by the Saudi Arabian military, their Saudi Arabian Air Force, which we armed. That's Raytheon, that's Halliburton. Those missiles have those names on them, and those are US weapons that Donald Trump and his son-in-law Kushner sold them. And I don't know why they sold them those weapons, because of course they were going to use them in a terrible way. And Donald Trump needs to be held fully responsible for that. He should be answering questions. And the State Department is trying to answer questions about that. I did a video about a State Department spokesperson who just absolutely bobbled questions about Yemen, and she's been dragged through the mud, and she deserves to be, because she just has no good answer for why we are arming terrorists and letting them bomb the shit out of Yemen. So Donald Trump's feet need to be held to the fire when he's not doing his job, and when he's bringing war to foreign countries. But when he's bringing peace, we should appreciate him, and we should notice when BS statistics are being used. Liberals like Lee Camp, but really almost all smart liberals, will use statistics dishonestly in order to get their agenda passed. And that's where you're going to get the 77 cents on the dollar lie. It's a complete fallacy. Anyone who digs in realizes that they're not using, it's just a general worldwide global study with zero, that they're not taking in education, they're not taking in all these sorts of industry specific things, they're not taking in how many hours somebody worked. They're just doing men versus women, and it's a global study that included all nations, including China. So I mean, they just won't dig into the study. Or you'll see Donald Trump's approval ratings all-time low, 44%, and then you dig in and they polled 75% Democrats. But they won't mention that. No Democrat wants to mention that. So you have to, if you actually want to be honest with statistics, you have to dig in and really look at the charts. And you can tell from this chart that Donald Trump has taken the Syrian conflict from about 5,000 bombs a month, which was an all-time high. I don't disagree. This is where Lee Camp got that statistic of 44,000 bombs. We were dropping an enormous amount of bombs. But guess who stopped it? And if you do honest reporting, you know that Donald Trump is the reason why the Syrian conflict is coming to a close. So thank you, Donald Trump. I appreciate you for ending the war in Syria and letting the Syrians resettle into their own nation. It's a great thing that's going on in Syria. And I've seen videos of people, and they're happy, they're waving, they're riding motorcycles around. They're gonna start to rebuild, and we should support that effort. I know Russia deserves more credit because they are starting to rebuild Syria. They're starting to help with the rebuilding process, and I know we just stopped our funding for the rebuilding process. I honestly think that's not a bad plan. We really don't know how to spend money in Syria. We should probably just stay the hell out of it and let the Russian contractors deal with it, and it's not really our business anymore. Syria is really not a conflict, not a nation that we should have any business in. We've done enough damage as it is. All right, that's all I'm gonna talk to you guys about. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Ross Madden with the Truth of Think Tank. I hope you guys have a really, really great day. Bye.